So from a young rusty color with short fur to a big individual like that, and I mean, it looks just completely different. It doesn't even look like the same animal at all, and it's probably the most extreme form of dimorphism that we have in any of our antelope species. So some of the antelopes will have horns and the females don't, or you'll find like some of them will have dewlaps and the males and the females won't, and there's varying kind of things, but generally they all have a similar color. There's not too much difference, but the Nyala is very extreme. The females and the males don't look anything alike, and even the young ones to the big adults are completely different. So it's a fascinating species, and a beautiful one at that as well. Those horns are just amazing. This is a particularly big individual. You can see his horns have twisted and twirled, and they've got the little white tips on them, and so no one's 100% sure why those white tips occur and what it's exactly used for. Some say it's a little bit of camouflage, because obviously the horns are helping with representing almost branches as this guy moves through thickets, and help camouflage, and that's the reason for the spirals. But the white tips can then just blend in with the dappled light. But the other theory of thought is that it is contrasting to the darkness of the horn, and therefore shows where the horns finish, and that is then a indication to other males as to how big these horns are, and to females in terms of their sort of status, and whether or not they're worth competing with or not. So they really are quite amazing, and you can see how contrasted it is to have those white tips, and there's no real other antelopes that have a very similar system to this. And it seems to just go hand in hand with the Nyala's whole modus operandi when it comes to competing for females, is they try and avoid fighting as much as possible. So if they can show off horns like that and have contrasting colors that can intimidate other males, as well as their body size, erecting that fur that they have, those beards and that long fur that they've got on their back, that allows them then to try and intimidate other males and not actually fight, well, then it seems a plausible idea. Look how beautiful that is. Bethia, you say they really do look like mythical creatures. They are that. Like I say, I always say they're exotic. They kind of, when you think about as a kid, when you thought about wild, imaginative animals, I don't think you would be far off for something like this. It's got big, striking markings, lots of fur, long horns, and it's quite a bulky individual. So, I mean, it's not the biggest antelope we get out here, but they really are beautiful, and the markings on them are quite amazing as well. I really do enjoy sitting and watching big Nyala bulls, and funny enough, they are an animal that spends a lot of time around camp. So even though they are shy, secretive individuals normally in the wild, you'll find in camp systems they absolutely love camps, and it's generally because camps have well-maintained gardens, which is perfect for a Nyala. You see, look, he's going into philo-erection. Look, there must be another Nyala somewhere close by. Look at how he's changed his whole posture, and you see how he fluffs everything up and turned his tail up. There's his hair up on his back that was all flat, and so this is called philo-erection, and they do this when there's another male around. So they're trying to make themselves really big, intimidate that other animal. It is amazing to see, and they reckon that their body and their overall appearance will increase by as much as 30%. Gee, there comes the other Nyala just on the left. So he's coming through the guarri bushes, and that's why he's presenting himself this way. And they'll present their flanks to try and give as much an appearance as possible of that long fur. So he's just showing to that other male Nyala, I'm here, I'm dominant, I'm the biggest of between the two of us, and he's trying to impress him. And once that other male Nyala kind of moves off, so that hair will all start to flatten, and already you can see it starting to flatten down around the tail. The tail's gone back down, and the sort of rest of it. The other Nyala is still posturing there. Look at the other Nyala coming out. CP entertainment, now they generally will not attack each other. They try and avoid it at all costs. I'm just going to try go forward a little bit for Senzo so that he can see the other one that's posturing in the background there. You can see, look at now, they're going to probably do a very intricate movement around each other, slow and steady, head down, tail up, slow movements, and they do it around one another to try and sort of establish themselves and to see who's bigger. But they will attack if they both feel like they are of equal size. If they both feel like there is no way that they can solve this by moving around each other and doing this intricate sort of display pattern, then they will go after one another and they will actually attack each other. Now generally what that implies is that they will put their horns together and they'll push it against one another and try and make each other sort of test each other's strength. They're not ideally wanting to kill one another. At the end of the day, they don't eat meat, so it's not about killing. It's more just testing strength, and that's how they do it. But how cool is that? So this one here, closest to us, kind of backed down a little bit. It just stopped displaying and moved off and left the other one there. And so the other one is the winner, even though it doesn't seem to have the biggest set of horns. It's probably a bigger bodied animal, and you can see this guy's got a few scrapes on his side, so I wonder if he hasn't had a few altercations with other Nyala before that's left him with a wound like that, because that's not a cat wound. Cat wounds on the side of the body would be claw marks. So if you can just go a little bit to the left for me, Senzo. There we go. So that marking there, cats would leave claw marks that would be, you would see them linear, they wouldn't cross over one another. So that's either a horn that's done that, or a stump or a tree branch as it's been fleeing from another animal that's caused that wound. But it's nicely healed, and it makes him look a little bit more hardcore. Reminds me of the fish from Finding Nemo. I forget what his name was, the fish that helps him escape from the tank with his little scar on the side of his body. So that would be very similar in the Nyala world. Maybe we can name that Nyala the same name. What was that name? Maybe Megan, you know? Megan, do you know? No, Megan doesn't seem to know. Okay, ask Google. If Ali was around, we'd be able to find out immediately, because Ali, I think, has watched Finding Nemo about 4 million times, and of that 4 million has made me watch it about 2 million times, and you would think I would remember these things, but maybe because when I watch it, I just go blank a little bit after watching it so many times that I've completely forgotten as to what his name is.